All right, Steelers post game, and honestly, I don't know what to say here. I really don't. Uh, this was a game they had to win. I predicted a win only because I knew that they had to win this game, and I thought maybe the Jets were thinking the same thing. But I don't know what's wrong with this team at this point. This team is like broken, man. So I knew it wasn't going to be easy. But I didn't think it would be a 37-15, fucking loss. So I'm like at a loss for words here, honestly. They started out to where it looked like they were going to take the game, and then you had a mishap. Then it's 15-13. And then what really, I think, switched the momentum for good was when the ball bounced off of Wilson and the guy ran it almost all the way back. And that to me just ended the game. A quick note on Wilson there. He's my guy on this team. I love that fucking guy. But I've noticed with him sometimes he takes his eye off the ball. He starts to think about what he's going to do, I think, too fast. And that's what I think happened over there. But at the same time, and I've said this before about him, he's the type of player that is only going to grow and get better from plays like that. Breece was having a really good game. He had a good game. But it just all, the defense, I don't know what's going on with the defense. I honestly don't know what to say here, man. It's a game they had to win. They are now 2-5. You're looking at a season that is about to get away from them. We're on the brink of another lost season. It's funny, it looked like I just got a notification from one of the videos. Probably somebody ragging on the Jets or my prediction or something, but it's well deserved at this point because this team is just, maybe I'm the fool for following this team and making these fucking videos. I don't know. What else can you do at this point if you're a Jets fan? I mean, it's year after year of the same shit. Now, I could switch to something more uplifting here, and I could say, well, look, I was looking at the schedule before, and they have winnable games coming up if they can put together some type of a streak. But listen, it is really not looking like that's going to happen at this point. Coaching. Maybe coaching is a really big problem here at this point. And if this keeps up, they're gonna clean house. And then we got to start all over again with somebody else. I mean, I don't know who's out there. I don't know who they can get that, Woody thinks is just going to step in and take us to the bowl. I don't know. To be honest, this problem started when they became infatuated with Rodgers. All right, I keep going back to this, and I will keep going back to this. Before we got Rodgers and we were in the market for a quarterback, there were better choices. There were people out there who they were young enough to where they would be able to grow with the team. You had Derek Carr and Mayfield. Those are the two big ones that were on my list. Especially Mayfield. You look at Mayfield at this point. I loved Mayfield coming out of the draft. He was available. I don't even think the Jets called him because why? They were infatuated and fixated on getting Rodgers. Listen, I'm a big believer in this. You can't buy championships. And it just seems like that's the direction this team went in. Woody made a statement earlier in the week saying, it's the most talented team he's ever seen. He wants to win now. And when you get into that mode, it's like you're going to try to buy a championship. It doesn't usually work. You got to bring people up through the draft. You got to get the right components, people that can grow with the team. You're talking about a very short span here with Rodgers that they put all the chips in on. So, all the way to the point to where now Devontae Adams is on the team. It's all for Rodgers. It's all, again, it's mind blowing to me. So, I mean, there's really not much post game to cover here, other than what I'm kind of saying here. So, where does this team go from here? Like I said, we have the Patriots next week. It'll be a pretty quick pregame video, I believe, for that. But I don't want to get into it because I'll save that for the pregame video. But, you got the Patriots. Then you have the Texans. I mean, with the way it works with the Jets, they'll beat the one team that they're not supposed to beat. And they'll lose to everybody else, man. So who knows? But after that, to me, again, there are winnable games. The question, though, is whether or not they will win these games. And like I said, man, it's almost like the season's getting away from them at this point. And maybe, like I said, the coaching could be a huge problem now at this point. Maybe Ulbrich doesn't have it either. It doesn't look like he does. I mean, granted, he was thrown into this position, really thrown into the fire, but we'll see. They're not going to make another coaching change. I would be shocked if they did. Who knows? Maybe at this point we'll get a good fucking draft pick. I mean, that's where they're headed at this point. They're 2-5. So just to get to 500, they would have to win 3 in a row. And in the middle of those 3 games is the Texans. So do the math. And that's just to get to 500. And then you want to talk about playoffs? I mean, you got to win like 10 fucking games to get into the playoffs. Just to get to 10 games now, they'd have to win 8 in a row. Then that would put them at 10-5. And then you have 2 more games on top of that. So you're talking about out of the next 10 games, basically, you're talking about they would need to win 8 out of the next 10 to have a shot at going to the playoffs. So does that sound realistic? No, it does not. It does not. Again, I said it all last week. They needed to come out with a do or die attitude in this game. They needed to really understand that if you lost this game, you're playing with fire with losing the season, and it was just a 37-15 result. So I'll make the pregame for the Patriots. It's not going to be that long, and check that out. Because I don't even know what I'm going to say in that thing at this point. But check that out. Maybe I'll have one highlight in here with that pass off of Wilson's shoulder for the interception, because that, to me, that just broke the game in half. Other than that, I'm just going to have to focus on other shit to talk about. They're at the point now where you might have to really pull a miracle this year to turn it around. So, and then what are you going to do? Let's just say the season gets lost this year. You're bringing Rodgers back again next year to save the franchise again. I mean, what the fuck is this team doing at this point? That's why I didn't want Rodgers, man. He's got a very short shelf life, and he is a win now component. And I don't believe in the win now, buy a championship philosophy, man. I never did. So, you're talking about a move that, I'm talking about getting Rodgers. You're talking about a move that, if it fails, and it certainly looks like it's failing, how many years does that set the team back again? And you got awesome young talent. They had an epic draft that usually turns teams around and wins championships. It was that type of a draft. And is that going to go to waste now too? Because they just have a serious fucking quarterback issue that they just can't seem to fix. I will stay committed to the channel and put out the videos. And like I said, if the season gets lost, we'll just start talking about other shit, like maybe who should coach next year. And I still got to put my uniform video out, so maybe I'll get cracking on that and put that out just for a breath of fresh air to come out onto the channel because and that's, at this point, that's just a fun video. It's just me going, getting into the whole, uniform logo change because I'm into that. Maybe I'll get that out. It'll be more perhaps uplifting than what we witnessed tonight. Anything will be more uplifting than what we witnessed tonight. It's fucking ridiculous. What I saw tonight was just a game they had to win. It's almost like they didn't get the memo. It's almost like nobody understood on this team that how important it was to beat the Steelers tonight. Same thing with Buffalo, and Denver. Those were critical, crucial games. It's like they did not show up for these games. I mean, at least Buffalo, it was a game to the end, but crazy. So, all right, that's enough, man. I talked enough. I'm going to have to cut some of this shit out. I don't even want this video being this long. So, look for the pregame and Patriots next week. And that's it, man.